We've all been there. You wake up late, rush through the morning, and everything is setting you off. Every single one of us has had one of those mornings where just everything feels completely off. Stoics happen to be very aware of this and develop the practice, keyword being practice, to wake up early. You thought they always did it perfectly? No, they didn't. Just like us, they didn't always want to do it. But the one thing that helped them and can help you today is remember what you were put here to do. We certainly have proof that you're not alone if you're still struggling to get out of bed. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of the Roman Empire, wrote in his personal journal titled Meditations for Us Now, struggling to get out of bed in the morning. He wrote, "In the morning when you don't want to get up, remember you are getting up to fulfill your life as a human being." He also talked about when we see little birds at the beach, they're simply doing their nature as best they can. Stoicism tried teaching exactly that. For the Stoics, it wasn't just about getting up early, it was just about not resisting the duty of a human being. For you and I, progress could be setting up an alarm if we don't have one, or setting it a bit earlier if we want more time in the morning. Go on settings right now and take off the snooze button. Yes, there is an option to do that, and I have definitely done that, and it's very helpful, and it will to you too. I like to think of it as like the firefighters that we have today. They don't just choose to not go to work because their emergency hotline was empty yesterday. They show up anyways. They don't stop. They just show up every morning without knowing if they're gonna call, without knowing if it's gonna make a difference. They show up. This next practice, the Stoics chose their response instead of just overthinking. From what we know today, Stoics all the way from Zeno to Seneca and beyond, of course, have practiced this next. From resources today, we know that they would mentally rehearse positive, negative situations and not just land it there, they would also decide how they would respond to it. Yeah, they would write it. They would think it, but with the attention spans we have today, I think it would be way more effective if we wrote them down. Personally, I like to call it the morning preview, but originally it's called the Premeditation malorum. Say that 10 times fast. Guys, please tell me if I'm pronouncing it right. In Latin, it means the premeditation of evil. This practice is very, very often seen as negative or being really pessimistic, but it was truly about acceptance. The core idea of this practice is to simply write down those things that are stressing you out and not just write about them themselves, but also include what you would do about them. You can start small, just 2 possibilities and 2 reactions is enough for the start. You can slowly build on that, but you better start. The next practice is not doing a practice. Here's a little challenge for you. Try to think about nothing. See it? It's one of the hardest things for our minds to do is to literally do nothing. Just be, and I don't mean like binge watching TV or scrolling on social media, even though I've definitely done that before, but it's okay. Be able to just be with yourself and just be, not necessarily doing anything, is a skill, just like everything else I'm going to mention here. The trick here is to just start. 2 minutes is enough. Just do 2 minutes of simply being. It could be anywhere, it can be in your room, in your balcony, it could be anywhere. Practicing this is what the Stoics like to call the virtue of temperance. Temperance is mostly about knowing when to persist at something and when to stop and to look back on something. If we are able to have temperance for something so small like 2 minutes, we can have temperance for the bigger situations in our life if we compound it. The Stoics believe you strengthen your discipline by choosing voluntary discomfort instead of just meeting it by surprise. It was believed that to overcome these challenges, you had to face them by choice. It's a way to build self-discipline and strength, and this has definitely been proved to be true throughout the centuries. Tilius Rufus was unfairly exiled from Rome to a nearby Greek city near Asia Minor. The people there offered them power and influence, but he didn't choose that route. He chose the hard route of honesty and private life. He could have easily chosen to have a lot of power and wealth in this new place that he was at, but he didn't. He chose the hard path, and in return, choosing the hard path helped him have strength and discipline for everything else he had to face in life. Today, I think the best way to choose the hard path would be maybe running or just doing a harder workout than usual to build strength for the following workouts. This isn't just about strengthening the body, but also telling the mind you show up even though it's cold, even though it's raining, even though you don't want to do it. In one of the pages on meditations, Marcus Aurelius talks about choosing to hold the horse's rein with his non-dominant hand, which is interesting because it's very hard to do that. If you're riding with one hand, it's really hard to do that. And choosing that, I feel like it might seem minor, but he did it to build the habit of choosing hard things. Stoics didn't believe having a good morning guaranteed a good day. As Epictetus likes to remind himself, things that we don't like will happen. Before we pour all of our energy into those things that we can't influence, the Stoics asked, what is in my control? And that is the dichotomy of control. This is simply about asking what is in my control and what is it's not. This is the main core of Stoic philosophy, to ask what is in my control, what is not. The Stoics knew that it was a very big waste of time to try to control the things that just can't be controlled. So they chose instead to pour in all of that energy into the things that they can control. Once you see what isn't in your control, something very interesting happens. You stop fighting reality and take it a step further, even agree with it. They like to call it amor fati, a love of fate. To love your fate is not just to love the good things that happened in your life, but also the bad things, and the cherry on top, to use them to make you better. Marcus Aurelius actually famously said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Whatever really happened in their day, they accepted it and they found a way to make them better. So if you didn't understand the reference, which you probably didn't because I didn't give any context, when I mean flipping it, I mean when Marcus Aurelius said to flip your obstacles and make yourself better because of them, to improve in some way. Today, flipping it can be something as simple yet very relatable as talking to someone who is kind of a know-it-all and take a deep breath and say, this is a chance to practice patience. To love your faith is to become a student of life. The Stoics didn't pretend they knew everything because realistically it's impossible to know everything, and that's the kind of Stoic humility that they were after. They also warned, if you believe you know everything, you're cutting off all of the knowledge that you could learn if you ask questions. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. I personally like to picture the Stoics going about their day asking questions, sometimes a little bit obvious questions, but it was not about the questions themselves. It was about building the habit of not thinking you know everything and asking those questions. I actually have a really funny story. I have a little brother that will always ask questions. He's like the why man. He will always ask questions. He'll be like, why is the house painted blue? I'll say, because the owner wanted it to be blue. And he'll say, why did he want it to be blue? And he'll continue to go on. The whole point of this is, if you want to become better, keep asking questions. Two people can live the same exact day. One will keep the bad things, the anger, the reactions. One will keep the lessons behind them. The key difference here is if they practice something called the evening review. Most of the Stoics enter their day with a reflection of all the things that happened throughout the day, the mistakes, where could they have improved. The thing is that if you do this, you will not only experience the thing, but learn from it. It's okay to feel bad about what happened. The key is not letting it actually get to you, to always find lessons. Lessons, lessons, lessons. This kind of detective work doing to yourself was both inspired by Seneca and Epictetus. Even though it has definitely changed throughout the years, here is a clear view of what they were and how you can apply them. So the first one was, where did I go wrong? This could possibly be something that you procrastinated and you knew was important. Ask this not to feel like a failure, rather to ask yourself to do it next time. The next one was, what did I do? This ties back to the virtue of justice, basically how you treat other people. This could be asking yourself if maybe I was really impatient with someone who needed more of my patience. After you can write, next time I will have more patience with someone who needs it. Next one is, what duty was left undone? These are basically the missed opportunities you could have taken throughout the day. Once you find them, acknowledge them, actually feel gratitude towards them. You don't have to feel bad just because you didn't take them, because the fact that you're aware is already good. I would personally add one more that I think the Stoics knew but maybe didn't write. What did I do right? This is all the actions that you want to keep doing, all the actions that are slowly building your character in the background. The Stoics often warned against praise and all things like that, but this isn't really praise, it's reinforcement so that you can keep consistently building your current habits while keeping the ones you're building. There needs to be a balance between knowing what you're doing right and knowing what to improve. Practice the evening review, you become more aware of the choices you made throughout the day. When you practice the next thing, you become aware of your time. I don't like to think that our time is limited. Some people always ask me, why do you like to think about your mortality so much? Isn't that sad? Memento mori in Latin means remember you will die. Being aware of this makes you more conscious of what you do, and what you say, and what you think, as Marcus Aurelius would say. There's definitely a key difference between the people who will go YOLO, I'm gonna do this and do that, crazy things, and the people who use it to become a better person every day. The best way to remember this is a Marcus Aurelius quote that said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Life is a gift, and for the Stoics, memento mori was not a threat. It was a reminder to live well. Stoics often said, it's not about talking about it, it's about being that. So if you want to be something, choose to be it. You don't have to wait for things, you don't have to wait for the perfect time. Be it. Epictetus said, don't merely explain your philosophy, embody it. Once you remember your time is limited but valuable, that's memento mori. But when you realize the actions you take after that, you remember to live.